Welcome back to the Witko podcast. How's it going, Christian?
Going very well, Jonathan. So, for the first story today, I see a news article here. The world's first hydrogen-powered commercial aircraft takes to the skies above Bedfordshire. And I don't know much about hydrogen-powered aircrafts, but we hear all this stuff about hydrogen-powered cars, and I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of a battle between hydrogen-powered cars and aircrafts versus electric cars and electric aircrafts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're going to see all this stuff come to fruition, and we're going to see the pros and cons of both. And I'm just glad to see progress with both VTOL aircrafts and hydrogen-powered aircrafts. And, again, this comes down to the healthy competition, different technologies helping progress travel. So that's cool. What do you think about aircrafts and where the technology might go in terms of just technology in general, electric aircrafts, hydrogen powered, or anything else that you might think of?
So I've been reading up a little bit on that, and I saw an article where they actually successfully implemented electric
Mm-hmm.
into a like quadcopter, a drone, basically drone type helicopter, and they were able to get 15-minute trips
Oh, nice.
with I think 2 passengers in it. So it's not very long. Definitely not like a gasoline powered helicopter. I can go much longer than that. But for a electric powered helicopter, 15 minutes, it's a start. But at least they were able, the impressive thing is they were able to get it up in the air, that much weight. And for 15 minutes, that's a start, in the right direction. So once we start digging deeper into battery technology, it'll definitely grow in duration how long the flight time will be. So hydrogen, I think, will probably take a little bit longer for stability. Hydrogen is a dangerous thing. Electricity is one thing, but we've had a lot of time with electricity, right? Battery powered things. Hydrogen in those kind of vehicles flying or on the ground, there hasn't been a lot of public testing, or just a lot of inventions that were tested amongst the masses to kind of get a good scope on reliability, durability, and just stability in that. So I think hydrogen is definitely a thing to look at because it has a lot of power to power motor engines up. But for a something to be used by the masses, I think it will be a little bit longer.
I don't know much about the testing that has been done with hydrogen in terms of airplanes. And I don't know much about how safe it is. But the best way to find out is to test it, as we're seeing, and go for it. So I'm glad they're doing it. And I just hope we see more and more progression, especially when it comes to flying, because we all envision a future with flying cars, super fast travel, being able to get from point A to B super quick. And I think when it comes to flying, right now we look at flying as like a night. Back in the day, it used to be like a nice, luxurious thing to do. And over time, it became how many seats can we cram into this airplane and how many people can we stuff in it. And then you have all these rules, strict rules with safety, being a priority on airplanes and all this stuff. And it became like a hassle. And now with the world situation, flying is even more of a hassle. So I think with this new technology where it just becomes more efficient, it's going to go from it's going to go from being something that was a luxury thing that took hours to do to more of a what's the fastest airplane? How fast can I get here to my destination? And I think it's
Safely.
yeah, and I think it's going to be about like not only how fast can I get there, but how smooth will the ride be? And will I notice that I even moved, right? So it's going to be like how smooth, how basically unnoticeable can the movement of the airplane be? Just from A to B, like it's almost like teleportation. I think that's going to be the goal of these. Like we're probably even talking hundreds of years, but goal of these like super fast aircrafts.
Yeah. See, I think it's all about efficiency, right? A
Mm-hmm.
company is not going to put money into something that hasn't had enough testing because they want to, human life goes so fast, right? We're in like such a fast pace. We would doing things at 100 miles per hour, companies, and they want something that can go on the market, get the money as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible, uh, with the least amount of uh, uh, negative results from it, like lawsuits or something from something that happened that it just wasn't tested enough, and they
Mm-hmm.
could have avoided that with going with an option that's been on the market or just has been through numerous testing. So, you know,
Yeah, a
go
lot
the
of
safe route.
companies play it safe, and I think that's a good thing to do. But what also is a good thing to do is to truly innovate and take a risk. It doesn't mean you got to release it into the public. Test it for as long as you can
Yeah,
without putting people in harm's way, and then slowly release it, baby steps, um, and showcase that technology, which I think is what's happening. Especially with right now with Tesla and autopilot. I think for the most part, they're doing a great job releasing it in a steady fashion. You have incidences here and there, but for the most part, I think it's going pretty smoothly.
yeah. Usually, the reports of the Tesla, the automated, the autonomous system is usually because it's confusing lines on the road that it wasn't familiar with, like kind of imperfections on roads that don't have many markings.
Mm-hmm.
It strays from a road that had very distinct markings on the road, paint on the road, to a road that has hardly any markings, and it's like going from a wide road to a narrowing road with like barriers or something, and it just wants to continue on that path that it was in on the street before, and kind of gets confused and heads on into the barrier or into another lane or something like that. So, uh,
And the thing with that is the cars are always learning, right? The Tesla cars, they have a whole system there where they're pulling data from a bunch of vehicles and they're learning about the environment that they're driving in.
yeah,
So over time, those mistakes are buffed out, smoothed out. and the car learns to deal with those situations in a better fashion. So that's another thing. The computer learns, the company learns, people learn, and all together, you get a safer driving situation for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, AI is definitely the future because it's doing things humans have perfected, but at a faster pace, right? Uh, we can only absorb so much information and then analyze that information in the human mind, in a human brain. But you can teach AI, you can create software to absorb that information that human would have absorbed and analyze it in a fraction of a second that we can. So it's kind of taking the time that we take to do something and really, really cutting it in half or more. And now it's speeding up the process of learning and perfecting, uh, inventions and things that we're innovating on the humans. And yeah, it's I have a whole bunch of articles pulled up on AI, and it's almost scary because if it's articles where it's almost like kind of threatening jobs, right? That humans are doing, but there's the aspect of, there's always that human touch of something that right now AI, artificial intelligence, cannot replicate as
Mm-hmm.
far as we know yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one thing, self-driving cars. That's one thing, right? Uh, so it could potentially, diminish the business of taxis, Ubers, and whatnot in the future. But right now, where artificial intelligence stands, we don't want to put 100% of our trust into it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though as much as what Elon Musk says, this reliable, this and that, it's great. People in the instances that we've had where the autonomous vehicles have kind of made a mistake, uh, we still don't want to really put 100% of our trust into it. So far, taxi drivers, Uber, and they're safe for now, right? People still want to get driven by a human that can distinguish a road barrier, or whatever, from whatever that a autonomous driving vehicle gets messed up with. Uh, but then there's things going into uh, music, right? So about mixing, like mastering, right, a
Mm-hmm.
song, right? So now there's AI driven software. You've heard of Lander, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
LANDR.
I showed you
Yeah. So that's getting better by the day, right? This software that masters a song for you. So mastering basically is making a song the way the artist or producer wants it to be heard. So it could be compared to like photography, right? You take a picture of a video and you see the raw file and you see the sky. You notice you want to make the sky, pop out a little more, put a little bit more blue color in there, or make a little bit more color in some kind of object pop out more, some color less, the way you want the photo to look like. So that's how mastering is with music. You want certain elements to pop out more than others, or kind of take out some things that don't need that much attention to the human ear that the person that made that song doesn't want them to hear as much as a certain element that they do. And so this software is basically each time a song is uploaded and being mastered by this AI software lander, it it just learns and gets better and knows what certain elements to kind of boost and master in that aspect, from things from genre, uh, and they're basically saying this could be a solution to somebody that doesn't have you know thousands of dollars to spend on a engineer to do this mastering for them, right? Because you can give an engineer a song to master just one track, and that could be from hundreds to thousands of dollars to get that done, right? And some people just don't have that money, and they want their song to sound good, right, when they're starting off, right? So this is a good alternative to get yourself started with your music, uh, and it's only getting better, right? Because it's just like us, we're learning each day more and more on what we read or whatever, and this AI is doing it even faster, right? With each song, it's learning on what to do with the next song that's uploaded into the software. So, they're saying that it definitely doesn't have that human touch yet, where you'll definitely get a better, more in tune, like tune kind of mastered track, as if you gave it to an engineer. You can go back and forth with the engineer, be like, oh yeah, I want this and that, I want it to be sound more like this, and this element to pop out a little bit more than this in the song. But Lander kind of gives you that quick fix to your song. So even if you are like an engineer, or that you could do it yourself, this is something that can maybe even just clean up some things in your track. And there's also a company called Isotope, Isotope, and they even have AI. It's a plugin called Ozone, and it can do some tweaking that you just want to get out of the way, so you can get to like the nitty gritty creative stuff, right? So you can get down to business, right? And you don't have to worry about that stuff that's just like little cleanup stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and AI is doing that for you. So if you're on a budget, Lander is something to look into to kind of just make your song pop a little bit more, sound a little bit more professional. And in some instances, uh, they gave record labels. They went to record labels and they literally compared, right? They gave the example, I'll, they played this song and this song, A and B, right? And they let them choose which one sounds better. And some of them actually picked what the AI mastered. So that's pretty big stuff if you're having record labels already picking something that wasn't even mastered by a human. So we're kind of getting into that realm where you wouldn't even imagine, where a producer, an engineer, a sound engineer that masters tracks 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they wouldn't even think, something a robot type software is going to do my job better than I do it. uh, so that's crazy to think about that there's something that's created in relation to the human brain, but is able to do stuff in some ways, depending on the engineer, sound engineer and whatnot, better than a human mind. So we're getting there. It's a scary thing with artificial intelligence, but it's also an amazing thing, a cool thing to think about, because there's other applications that AI is going into where uh, scientists are training artificial intelligence to diagnose mental illness. So it's basically a MRI machine that you put on. It's like a helmet like MRI machine that you put on your head, and it's scanning your brain activity, right? And you play this video game while it's scanning your head, your brain, and certain aspects of the video game will trigger a certain activity in your head to diagnose certain mental illnesses, right? And of course, they're saying that there's also going to be, room for false positives, right? So they got to keep that in mind. But yeah, the literally is going to be um, artificial intelligence diagnosing your mental illnesses, from schizophrenia to bipolar. Uh, it's crazy to think about that. Uh, and soon enough, we'll have like therapists, artificial intelligent therapists. Think about that. That will actually be able to have uh, advanced enough artificial intelligence that will be able to have conversations with people, and you already see that coming up. Uh, like I know, forgot which country, some country in Asia, had that robot that can already speak to you, right? Have like very simple conversation, right? This was already a year ago, or two. So yeah, two-way conversations with artificial intelligence. You're feeling lonely, you have nobody to talk to. Boot up, boot up your artificial intelligence buddy. Now you can have two-way conversations. But think about it this way: you have nobody to play video games with, and you're tired of playing single player, and now you'll have like artificial intelligence talking with you and like playing, literally controlling the second character in a video game and playing with you, and like learning, so getting better with you, so you can probably set to how fast it learns and stuff like that. So it's just not like, I don't know how it would work in like multiplayer situations. I don't know, like the restrictions and like game legality of like, how it would work in multiplayer, because people would be pretty. It would only be like, it would almost be like having like an aimbot, getting headshots and everything like that. But something more of all of the line where it's like, like a baby. The AI is a baby in the game, not an actual baby, like in the like a fresh mind of the game, and is actually learning at the pace that you are, right? You first pick up a game and you're horrible at it. You're just shooting around the person instead of actually getting shots on the character in the game. And it'll actually like learn with you and be alongside you playing this game. So that'll be a crazy future that we're diving into already. We're already seeing these kind of applications. Yeah, and then soon enough, you'll be hearing the artificial intelligence like converse with you, be friendly with you, and stuff like that. And then in virtual reality, then you'll be able to go into the artificial intelligence's world, right? So then you can actually shake hands with this person not person, I said person, this artificial intelligent being. Wouldn't that be crazy? It's almost like uh ready one player ready one?
Ready Player One.
Yeah, something like that, but actual like an artificial intelligent being. Yeah. So AI is going a long way. And then you also see uh, artificial intelligence. Like where else do you see artificial intelligence? Like uh, something that we carry with us every day.
Your phone.
Yeah, but what about it? What is artificial intelligence making so much better on our phones?
News. Well, I don't know if that's making it
Something
better.
that we capture memories
Photos.
of. Yeah, right. So, like I believe you mentioned to me once before that I'm like, oh, like the sensor or lens is or not as good or is good, or this sensor or lens in this phone is better, or something like that. But it's actually,
Software.
yeah, artificial intelligence
Mm-hmm.
and the phone's software for the uh, photo application, video
Mm-hmm.
application, making that uh,
Look good.
look way better.
Combining multiple photos,
Yeah,
making the colors right.
yeah. So it's not just the sensors and lens technology anymore that we think is advancing. That might still be the same as like a year or two. Well, not really the same, but you know what I mean. Not as advanced. And what's really making them shine is the artificial intelligence kind of shining over that and making it look way better than if you just took a picture without that artificial intelligence
Mm-hmm.
and with that sensor in the lens. So artificial intelligence is making our pictures better, and it's even like organizing. Like before, if you're somebody that took so many pictures, and you were in a photo application that stored your photos and videos, you're like, oh man, I want to find this picture of my cat or my
Mm-hmm.
dog, or like the group photos that I took with my buddies, with my friends from the beach, or when we visited this place or town or whatever. And now Google Photos categorizes that, and or it knows what your cat looks like, what your dog looks like, what your friends look like, what your certain people look like, and they'll be like, "Oh, are you looking for photos with so and so in them?" Or and there you go. Now you can have that organized automatically from just artificial intelligence learning, what you're taking pictures of and categorizing that.
Yeah, and I think some people might look at everything that you just said and they might look at it as a grim future, but that's not true. And this is why I say that. There is always a balance. Like Joe Rogan would say, it's a symbiotic relationship, right? So, a symbiotic relationship with technology. So, um, for instance, I've used Lander before. It does a pretty good job, right? And if you want to have more creative control with your music and also use Lander, let's say you just started, you're a new musician, you're not the best at mastering, you could drop that song in there, see what it does, and learn from it. Try to replicate it.
Yeah.
Or like use its file and then mess with it some more. Add a human touch.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next point, the human touch. When we compare something like AI with Lander to AI with self-driving cars, it's two different categories,
Mm-hmm.
right? Both sides might have fears of losing their jobs, right? But one side is more likely to actually lose their job, and that's the truck drivers and the taxi drivers. Music will always need a human touch.
Yeah, there's more like, I don't know how creative or you can get with driving, or how much of a human touch you need for driving.
Yeah,
There might be a little bit of it, but once you learn to drive,
yeah.
it's driving, right? You're
See,
driving
The difference is
straight, left, right, reverse. You know.
the difference is driving is more of a tool, whereas music is art. So, and it's unfortunate that this happens, that people lose their jobs, but this happens every generation. There are fields in society that people lose their jobs in, and it's always going to happen. That's how progress works.
Well, think about the printing press.
Yeah, exactly.
There was used to be people just copying books
Mhm.
by hand, writing, and now the printing press eliminated that.
So here's the thing. Yes,
But I'm sure those people got into were operators of that or something. Right?
yeah. So there are many people that are going to lose their jobs, and I'm sure it's going to be a hard transition, very hard. I'm not undermining that or anything, but if this is done right and it's a smooth transition, hopefully people can find jobs in something else they like doing, or in a new field that pops up because of AI that's related to it, like helping feed the AI information. So like the AI learns, right? So if a truck driver knows certain maneuvers, they can work along and kind of teach the AI to become better, or be there to they're going to be doing stuff where the truck driver sits in the truck and makes sure everything is going well for now. And once that truck driver is 100% not needed anymore, then hopefully during this time where the truck driver is still needed, there's a slow transition to another field or something that they enjoy doing that they can make money from.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I think in a future where all of these jobs are taken, where they're tools essentially, like taxis, truck driving, and all that stuff, I think a lot of these fields that used to be a lot of jobs in the future are going to be creative based. And the reason why I say this is because, again, a lot of creativity needs that human touch. And musicians in the past, I forgot exactly who this was, but there were musicians who predicted that robots will make music, right? So, but what we've learned during this whole EDM thing and all this stuff, and just electronic music in general and computers being used to make music, is that people still want the human touch. And people are even making electronic music and putting mistakes in there on purpose, putting distortion, mistakes, different rhythms and beats at different speeds and stuff like that. And that's the beauty about the human touch. You hear the mistake, you hear the different creative aspects of a live performance. And just because somebody used a computer to make music doesn't mean it's bad. It's there to assist. You can still make music with a computer and add a human touch. I love real instruments. I'm a fan of rock, especially grunge, because you hear that human aspects. You hear the mistakes. My favorite band is Nirvana. But I also love EDM. I also love hip hop. I also love pop music. So as time progresses and AI gets more advanced, people will lose their jobs. But as a result of technology, many new jobs will appear. Many people that could never imagine a certain job will have jobs, like dream jobs. People that may have lost their jobs in their old field will have new awesome jobs as well, even though their transition may be hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be amazing because back in the day, if you wanted to make videos or be in the industry, you would either have to look in the movie industry or the TV industry. But now you can literally make videos at home on the internet. You can edit your own videos, have your own podcast. You can be your own boss. And that right there is thanks to technology. And I think this is an ever expanding, beautiful, symbiotic relationship that we're going to have fears about, which humans always do. People were afraid when the radio came out, people were afraid when TV came out, people were afraid when internet came out. But we're going to strike a balance. We're going to adapt. Humans adapt. And I think it's awesome. And I think it's smart to be fearful, but it's also smart to have an open mind and realize that there is always a way.
Mm-hmm.
Balance can be
There's
achieved.
a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
And going into new jobs, right? And more jobs coming up from different creations of technology and whatnot on the rise, right? And back in the day, what was the job process, application process, hire process, right? It was you literally going to that job site, the store, the corporate building or whatnot, and asking for a piece of paper, right? To fill out an applicant paper, right? To fill out your information, right? And now that piece of paper goes to the hiring department, the recruiter, right, department, right? Or the manager or whatever of that store, and that person's going through those applications by hand, physically, right? Going through them, looking, if there's like a resume attached or whatnot, and literally hand picking through the pile, and it could be piles of applications, right? And you need to call endless, interviews in, and you might be calling people into interviews that hardly even fit. You might have thought, but once you interviewed them, they're just not even a fit at all, and it's like, oh man, I'm wasting my time, and I could have already found and hired somebody that was a right fit, but they probably got a job somewhere else because I have all these their application was on the bottom of the stack, and I'm only a quarter through the pile of applications, right? But now it's all digital, right? And now artificial intelligence has a part in picking out these applicants that are applying to these jobs, right? Uh, and this artificial intelligence is now making it easier for these companies, right, to sift through all these hundreds of thousands of applications, right? And now you see definitely that the height of that right now, because there's a little bit of a decrease in jobs. I mean, there's still jobs out there. There's a lot of unemployment, right? It's because of the pandemic, and a lot of people are applying for the same position, right, that you're applying to. And artificial intelligence is helping with that. So only the best qualified for people for that position are coming to the forefront, right? The best of the best that are qualified for this job are coming into the eyes of the people that are hiring, doing the interviews. And this artificial intelligence is literally pulling information from social media profiles like LinkedIn or Twitter, probably Facebook as well, like probably all of those, right? And so this artificial intelligence is gathering information from those areas. It is also tracking who's has applied and how they compare to the people who have already been hired and are doing well. And I think about that. So they're like, okay, so we know in the system, in our data, we have these people working for us, that these are their social profiles. They've been doing a really great job, in our company. So let's look at these traits, these aspects that we should be looking for to in these new hires, right? And this is what that artificial intelligence is doing. It's beep 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 boop bop 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 beep, scanning, doing its thing, and being an artificial intelligent software being, and it's picking out uh applicants that will fit the the requirements of the company. And it's well, out of these hundred thousands, here are the top 10 or top 50, applicants that you should actually call in for an interview. And now there's that human touch that the artificial intelligence can't do yet, right? It can't weed out either like the almost impersonators, people that really, kind of hype up their resumes or hype up their profiles, and when they come in, they're just not presentable and not what you expected, for some kind of position where you need somebody to be very presentable, professional looking, suit, tie, or, clean, good hygiene, and somebody comes in and they're just dirty, not good hygiene, not professional, presentable. Um, there you go. And now you have that personal touch. You can avoid missing out on the exceptional applicants because you're getting through the fluff, the applicants that are just not going to even be worth pulling in for an interview. Which, who knows? Maybe the people that the artificial intelligence weeded out could have potentially been. But it's kind of like a gray area where it's like 50-50. Could have been. But this is kind of giving you people that qualify and that knows will probably have a good chance at doing good in the interview. And now you have those candidates right in front of you to call up and bring in for an interview, and now put that human touch of answer, asking those questions, those last nitty-gritty questions to find the perfect candidate to hire.
And that's the key, that human interview, that human touch was still necessary in that scenario.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it's eliminating the need for multiple recruiters going through hundreds of applicants to just one person just receiving the top 10 applicants from the AI that the AI picked out. It's like, okay, the AI thinks you should focus on these people first. These seem like good fits. And all there can always be flaws. If people start, obviously know this, they might put specific words or things or that might attract the artificial intelligence to pick them up. But obviously you have that human touch. You have that interview afterwards to kind of weed out the people that are imposters or not really as qualified as they might have appeared. So.
Remember the other day when I was talking about how I always wished that there was a camera that could follow me around, a drone that could follow me around?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few examples of that, but Amazon's new Echo Show 10 moves to look at you, right? So it can actually follow you around in the room with the screen that like swivels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even have to move the drone. It just...
Well, it's not a drone, it's a screen.
Oh, screen.
So, and this reminds me of that gimbal, because you can use the software there, and the gimbal moves.
Yes.
To track you.
So now you don't have to focus so much on like the screen.
It becomes more natural.
Yeah, so you just set it and forget it type deal.
Set it and forget it.
So you just have to hold it up, but you can follow you,
Yeah, I mean, and with the Echo Show, you were just chilling in your room. Like let's say you get a call from somebody, but you also want to be productive, so you don't want to sit near the computer. So you can go and clean your room, right? And still talk to somebody, and they can see you in the camera. They can be a part of your life. You can talk, you can clean, you can uh, build Legos,
Yeah.
you can do whatever comes to your mind where you need movement, and still have the camera on you and still have a conversation. And actually, like, this technology is super exciting because let's say you can't film yourself and there's like a camera that follows you around that's like super quiet. You can basically have your own show that looks like a cameraman is following you around, but it's a robot doing it.
Yeah, so it's gonna learn, artificial intelligence again. It's gonna learn how humans, the art of filming, right?
Mm-hmm.
How humans move cameras.
And not
How
only that,
how some imperfections in your camera movements can create an enjoyable aspect
yeah.
of the quality of
So
the.
it might be able to like scan a database or something, like see the newest movies or whatever, and the oldest movies, and like you could tell it what kind of emotion and vibe you're going for that video or movie, and then it can apply that.
Imagine,
So
yeah.
horror movie, dun 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 dun
Imagine
dun.
imagine like Cloverfield,
Yeah, or an
the like
sci-fi movie.
shaky,
Yeah,
like, right,
or like a vlog or a music video. Oh my goodness, that's pretty cool, dude.
man,
Man.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
The things that it will be able to help us and
And then like
do without lifting a finger or stressing about that and focusing more on the other elements of the production of film,
yeah, and it's crazy
video
like
project.
this editing software that I've seen isn't perfect, but there's literally editing software where you talk, right? And it cuts the video. So you're talking like I'm talking right now, and it keeps that footage, but once I stop, it cuts it. And then when I start talking again, it keeps that. So it cuts out the pauses in between, the silence in between. So then
Okay.
when it's done, you have an edited video with all the parts of you talking.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna have to. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't stop recording
No,
because it would have to if it stopped recording.
it
Yeah.
doesn't stop recording. It keeps everything. And
Yeah.
then once you press the stop button, then it cuts it.
Yeah.
So then if it makes a mistake, you can adjust it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not like a destructive edit.
Yeah, exactly.
You can still go back to it, because if it stopped recording when you stopped talking, how would it know to start recording
Yeah.
before you start talking? Because then something would be cut off. You start
Yeah.
talking, it's like, oh, he's talking, like, record, and then it cut off your first word or like a part of your first word that you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, artificial intelligence. It's a beautiful and scary thing. It's doing things that we couldn't even imagine before, and way better than us. It's a scary thing. Soon enough, who knows? Soon enough, it'll be a part of us.
Yeah.
Software we'll have updates soon enough, plugged into us to make us better, more efficient and productive, like robotics.
Definitely. Um, did you see the new Echo Dot or the Echo? The Echo. There's an Echo. There's an Echo Dot and an Echo Dot with clock. But the main difference is with this new Echo. It's how the old Echoes they used to be like this circle thing.
Yeah. Now it's like
And
a
they were like
orb.
flat. Yeah, and then they went with like a kind of igloo looking one. No. Now I'm mixing the Google one. But anyway, it used to be this round dot thing for the dot, and then for the regular one, it was a cylinder. Now it's an orb, like an actual, like it almost looks like a ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and again, what they're going for here is a more natural look. Blend it in, make it friendly, keep it around your house, give it commands,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
let it help you do your daily task. Have like a bunch of them around your house. You want to play a song, just ask Alexa, and it blends in with everything in your house.
Yeah, ever since I got my Google Home speaker, the little one, I use it every day to
Really?
control my lights, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes I will ask it to play relaxing sounds for
That's
when I
cool.
go to sleep, right? So thunderstorm sounds like rain. That's my favorite, right? A rain or a
Oh
thunderstorm
yeah.
sound. So
So you started doing what I've been doing, playing sounds to help me fall asleep. Well, I
yeah,
play more like documentaries and stuff. But
yeah. I woke up and I'm like, oh, this is still playing. Like,
yeah.
is it thunderstorming in my room?
It helps, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
helps get your mind off of stuff.
Well, see, I have a minor tinnitus
Ah, okay.
in my ears, so when it's like completely, oh, it sucks. It's horrible.
For me, it's mainly racing thoughts. So I play the documentaries to get my
Well,
mind.
that too. I was having a little bit of that last night,
Mm.
but because of the tonight,
Mm.
it's like you hear consistent
Ringing.
ringing or noise. You know. Yeah, it's a type of ringing. It's not like some kind of ringing
Mm.
that it's almost like a high pitched vibration ringing
Mm.
or whatnot. If you have tinnitus, you know, right? And I got that from being an idiot, and I used to work at a body shop, you know, power tools, air power tools, you know, I wouldn't wear ear protection. Sometimes grinding down rust from the body of a vehicle, and I was like underneath the car, grind, grinding at a metal body panel without ear protection underneath the car, so it's the sound waves are reverberating and hitting, bouncing off like the bottom of the car, the ground, and blasting my ears. Like after I'm done, I'm like, okay. So very stupid. Now I'm like very cautious to not make that worse. And whenever I think there's gonna be loud noises, wear ear protection.
Yeah,
Like mowing, always wear ear protection mowing now. And you
we
know,
even bought earplugs, and I had an app. I don't know if I still have it. I had an app on my phone. Actually, I think now Apple has it on their
the
watch.
watch,
Yeah,
watch, yeah,
you can tell the
monitor the
sound levels
decibel levels
around
around
you.
that you're
Yeah.
surrounding. Yeah. So yeah, I use the uh, Google Home to play relaxing sounds, turn the light on and off, also set alarms. So I don't have to go into my phone. You know, I forgot to set the alarm. I don't have to go into the phone and turn it on. I just use my voice, command it, right? Like sit, dog, get up. Okay, Google, set my alarm. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the same thing with the Siri and looking at it so it doesn't activate.
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, Google on the Android phones and Bixby. You might look at it as making you lazy, but it's a shortcut, right? It's something that you just don't want to spend the time. Maybe you just don't want, you're already in that kind of Zen mode, about to go to sleep, that state of about to go to. You don't want that blue light hitting your eyes. You don't want that screen light hitting your eyes and kind of taking you out of that, right? So it's a good thing then to be able to voice command something without turning on a blinding light, in the dark to ruin your kind of sleep mode, right? Getting ready for bed. You don't want to, something to do that. Even though we're so used to it and we're so kind of so desensitized from something like that actually affecting our sleep, we don't realize how much it's affecting our sleep anymore because it's around us so much. We're just consistently on these lit up
Mm-hmm.
monitors, screens, whatever, that, it really is affecting your sleep. whether you like to admit it or not, whether you like to think it or not, it's affecting it scientifically. It's putting you in that mode where, okay, I'm awake. I'm about to get on my computer for work or play a video game, watch a movie, do this or that, check social media. It just triggers something, right? And now you got another 30 minutes to an hour before you get back into that sleepy state where you're ready to get some good sleep and deep sleep. Uh,
REM sleep.
REM sleep, right? And now that's why artificial intelligence is great. It's great for tracking your health, as in like how healthy a healthy amount of sleep that you're getting. REM sleep. The Apple Watch now tracks that, and I believe Galaxy Watch, other watches do, other more like fit design, health design watches do as well. But yeah, now you can actually track not only the amount of sleep that you get, but the amount of real sleep you get, deep sleep, REM sleep,
can
right?
it track like
to actually rest?
Can it track when you're like when you're not sleeping? Like, so like, let's see. I guess that's what it's doing. Like, so when you're sleeping, it tells you when you're getting good sleep, and then when you're awake, I guess that's bad sleep.
Yeah.
Or not sleeping.
I guess REM sleep, you're not really moving around.
Well, yeah. I mean,
if you're a tosser and turner, you're not in REM
your
sleep.
Your eyes are moving probably. Because when you sleep, your eyes, I think they move.
Yeah, it probably has to do with the heart rate as well. Yeah. But yeah. It's helping us in that way too. It's also helping us discover the universe, right? There's telescopes that satellites that beam down terabytes, just terabytes and terabytes of pictures of the space, every day. And they're saying that it's impossible for humans to obviously sift through all of those terabytes of data, collected pictures, right? And now we're training AI to detect certain phenomenons like a massive objects like galaxies or black holes. That's how it comes between a distant light source. So it's how the light bends around it. How it's affecting gravitational lenses and all that. How the artificial intelligence is supposed to pick up these phenomenons, right? And now artificial intelligence is able to and will be able to even sift through all that stuff even faster than it is now, and it's doing that already pretty fast, and it's going to be able to discover crazy new things in the galaxy that we would have taken years to. So now we'll be able to discover things about the universe even faster with artificial intelligence, and be one step closer even faster to kind of furthering space exploration and discovery.
Yeah, it's like you have all these images, and if a human were looking at it, they would probably ignore certain parts of that image, and the AI would like spot it and be like,
I'm trained to see this.
Hey dummies, you missed a planet over here that might, be able to sustain life. What are you doing? It's right in front of your eyes. Why are you looking over here?
Man. Scratch. Oops. That's why we created you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's basically the sum of it. It's just the amazing thing that we're heading towards with artificial intelligence. Can't wait to see what else we can do with it. It's going to be scary, but it's going to be also nerve-wrackingly exciting.
Definitely. And being cautious is important, but being open-minded and being open-minded and being happy to progress is also good. So, yeah, this was an awesome podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
We'll see you on the next episode of the Witko podcast.
Make sure give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe.
Check out the other episodes.
See what kind of topics we dove into in those episodes. And, hey, give us a comment. Let us know what other things you might want us to talk about. And we'll give it a shot. We'll take a look at it. We usually try to focus on things that we're interested in and passionate about, like technology, music, things of that nature. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. This is our sixth episode, and we're gonna keep on going, try to do as best as we can to keep up, and we appreciate it, all the support and any support that we get. So thank you so much for continuously watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya. Thank you.
All right. The Witko Bros are out.